Hello everyone, and welcome to a Unity 3D tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you the basics of Unity 3D and what it takes to make a game with C# in Unity. Now, you should have Unity installed, and that will install the Unity Hub, so we'll go ahead and open that. If you don't have Unity installed, link in the description. Just click on New Project and make sure it's set on 3D. You can name this whatever you want. I'm just going to name it YouTube Tutorial. And we can go ahead and click Create. It's going to go ahead and load for a while depending on your system. Alright, Unity is loaded and this is what you should see. If you don't like this layout, you can go ahead and, drag it around, but I prefer the default layout. Or, I actually do prefer this layout. This is my favorite layout. You can do whatever you want. And here we are. So, the inspector is where we see the properties of our game objects like cubes or your player or something. Project is where we store all the files like the code or the picture files if you're making a 2D game. Hierarchy is what's already in this scene. As you can see, if I select main camera, the camera is there. And this is the camera view right here, what the camera is seeing currently. This is where we edit the game and place things inside. So what we're going to do is right-click on our hierarchy 3D object cube, and you could see it here, and we can go ahead and reposition it at 0, and our camera has a Y1, Z, -10 offset, so you could see this better. If you want, you can drag it closer, make it higher, and then also rotate it with the rotate tool. This is the rotate tool. And boom, except I'm not going to do that, so I'm just going to undo everything I did, and it's back to the original transform position. Now if we go ahead and play this, as you can see, nothing happens. I recommend you do maximize on play, so whenever you play it, it's going to maximize the camera view. Okay, so let's add some properties onto this cube. We do have a box collider, which means that we can crash into any other object. If we didn't have a box collider, we would just go through that object. So let's make a rigid body, and essentially this applies gravity and physics to the object. So now when we hit play, it's going to start falling down. Let's make a floor so this doesn't fall down. So we're going ahead and hit plane. Let's reposition this to there. We can also change the color of this, and how we do that is make a material. So let's make a material. I'm just going to call this the floor, and we can change its color. I'll change it to a gray, dark gray, and we can go ahead and drag this on to the floor. Let's drag this up a little bit. Let's make another material and name it cube. We'll name it cube 1 because we don't know how many cubes are going to be in this demonstration. And I'll select red, like a nice dark red. Okay, and we can drag this on there. Boom, this looks beautiful now. So I'm going to go ahead and drag the camera closer now that we have a nice thing to focus on. Rotate it down, and now when we hit play, it's going to fall on to our plane. As you can see, this plane has a mesh collider, because this is a mesh, not a cube. If we go ahead and disable this mesh collider, you'll see what happens. This cube will just fall right through. It won't consider this plane as a collision without this enabled, so go ahead and have it enabled. So, now that we have this, let's make another cube. Let's just select this one, select Control D or Command D to duplicate. Just rotate it in a different way, make sure it's directly on top of this other cube so we can see what happens when it falls. Boom. As you can see, it actually does some kind of physics there. And yeah. Now, I'll show you a bit of programming. We'll try to move this. So what we'll do is go down here, select Add Component, and this is where you add the components, but if there is no component that you're typing in, like for example movement, which we want our script to be called, you see that there is nothing that is originally there that's called movement, but it does give you the option to add a new script named movement, or whatever you typed in there, and create an add. It's going to go ahead and add the script. Now, to have this script edited, I recommend you have Visual Studio Community Edition installed, or my personal preference, Visual Studio Code. You could change your editors and preferences, external tools, and external script editor. You get there by edit. And there you go. So now we can go ahead and open C# project, and it should open in your editor of choice. Mine is Visual Studio Code, as I just said. Here we are. Okay, go ahead and select our script, and this is what you should see. Now, I hope you're a little bit familiar with C# programming, because this is going to be kind of fun. So, the start function is called before the first frame. So this is like the first thing that gets run in the whole game. So whatever you need to be loaded in before the game starts, you put it in this start function. The update function is called once every frame. So this is great for checking logic, but not great for calculating physics and adding forces. We use the fixed update because if we put it in the regular update, the speeds would just depend on your CPU speed, and we don't want that. So what we will do is make an if statement. We'll do input.getKey, and we'll search for keycode.w, and this will basically just trigger the if statement if the W key is held down. Also, we're going to have to reference our rigid body in here if we want to move our character. So we'll say public rigid body RB. Okay, great. And now what we could do is rigidbody.add force, and we can add a force of, let's say, 5 going forward. Now you could see the axis is here from where the camera is. So the camera is over here, and the Z is pointing forward currently where I'm looking. So we want to go forward on the Z in the script. So what we're going to do is add a force of OF 5F. This is going to give you a continuous force of 5. Now let's go ahead and copy this and paste it in 3 more times and change this key code to W.A.S.D. So A will make us go to the left, which is a negative X. So we do a -5 on the X here. For the S makes us go backwards, so we just do a -5 here. And for the D it makes us go right, which is a positive X, so we just put 5F. And if my calculations are correct, we should now move. But we first have to select our cube, go to the movement, and drag in our rigid body here. And we should now move. We are now moving. Great. Oh wow, that's way too fast. We should probably add some constraints. And we can freeze rotation on all axes because we don't want rotation. We only want position movement. And there we go. Now we're moving along this plane. And those are pretty much the movement basics of Unity. We can go ahead and instead, if we want to change the speed quickly, instead of going back into our script and changing the speed, what we could do is just replace all the 5s with 1s. And we do 1 times speed for each of the 1s, which is going to multiply by the speed variable, which we haven't created yet, but we will. And then we go up here where the rigid body is, and we make a public float speed. Now we have something to mention from. Now it should pop up over here, and we can change our speed to 5. And that will control the speed for everything. Let's bump up the speed to 500 just for fun, see if it actually works. And, oh my god, wow, that's really fast. If we bump the speed to 1, it's not going to do anything because multiplying something by 1 just keeps it the same. As you can see, we're barely moving because it's not enough force. The mass is canceling out the force because there is mass here on the rigid body. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Good job. Just saying. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.